Dude, don't push me in the pool. My mother said I'm not allowed to get wet. That kid is a loser. So I'm sorry. The dishwasher had the same credits you had here.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Did you set me up because you told me that story of you sobering up before one of these experiences?
The room is actually mostly stage. 6-hour drive each way. That's kind of insane. What did you do? An open mic? Please.
Open mics.
Open mic. The pinky's up, ladies and gentlemen. The commentary for the room that we were in was this guy and Russell just yelling back and forth at the TV. Like, do this move, do that. No, don't do that. And then they're just yelling out moves. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What was the stat that you impressed him with? Whose move? I got an AO from Russell Peters.
And that was probably one of the funniest things because
I can't stand you,
he
nigga.
didn't see it coming.
I set myself up so perfectly. It was awful. We're eating chicken wings, and as he's eating, I'm like, Russ, do you prefer dry rub or sauce? And Russ, without even breathing, bro, he goes, hey, yo. And then I just look at Dante, I'm like, of all things.
I just get people up on diving boards and I kick them in the back. I guess you're learning on the way down. Canadians just all over the bridge. Jared Nathan. Kyle Lacey. Ben Bankus. Aaron Belial. Oh, no, he doesn't make a noise.
Black Zeus, the podcast, season 5. Welcome to the show where we talk about life, talk about the come up, and sometimes we fight. But in the end, it ain't a thing, cause we ain't trying to be right. We're just old new niggas with another podcast.
Season 5, episode 23. We're chilling out in San Antonio, just him and me. We talking about all the things that we did, like comedy. We've been on the road, my G. I'm tired, bruh. You ain't getting no hypeness today.
This is Black Zeus, the podcast, season
5. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Black Zeus, the podcast. Thank you for being here with us. Hello to all the beautiful people and hello to all the new people. You want to be a beautiful person? All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, hit the like button. We're fighting Mr. Algorithm every day, and you know how to help. Nice, chill energy today. You're not going to get no hype, Zeus. Dante's in the building. The boys are tired. Getting home in the early a.m. We are still here in Texas, kicking it with the comedy peoples out here. What did we do? Yesterday was Kill Tony Monday, so we went through the sign-up process again. We will let you figure out if one of us made it on. Just stay locked in to Kill Tony the next few weeks, and then come back here the next few weeks, and maybe we made it on, maybe we didn't. Magic. Dante, how you living, bro?
Blessed and highly favored, my G.
How's first week down? How you feeling?
Tired.
You know what? Today's really the first day since we landed that I'm like this tired. Maybe one other day.
Yeah, like I feel like it's been like an accumulation, right? Because we've been like doing things and like pushing back sleep.
Yeah.
Because we've just been doing so much. So like now it's like we've pushed it down to like 0 hours. Now we have no other option but to just be tired today.
Yo, but we are tired with a cause. And let me tell you, the only thing that's good about being tired is when you're tired with purpose. When you're tired without purpose or without direction, or just because you're doing things that you hate doing, like work or whatever, it can feel like a drag. Just because I'm tired right now, let me tell you, I'm on cloud 9 because I'm tired for my comedy career. There is so much for us to recap that happened this past week. Last week we talked about the Kill Tony process the first time we went through it. This week we had a better understanding of what was going on, the signups for the mics. We had a better lay of the land. More people knew us.
Yeah.
Like actually feeling like we're plugged in out here.
Yeah.
I got a 1 second here I got to take to give a Jared Nathan style big thank you to my OG in comedy, Jason Rouse. Jason Rouse is an absolute legend in the game. We're from the same hometown, and I have to give him his flowers right now. He's the one that really pushed us to make the trip out here, and I can't thank him enough for that. We will actually have Jason on this episode of the podcast a little later on, but right now we're just doing a quick little recap. Might even need to take a nap after this before we head back out to clubs tonight. So yeah, the chaos of Kill Tony, man. Like, what's your favorite and least favorite thing about the sign-up process, including like the atmosphere, and not just literally signing up, but all of it?
One thing, and I think this is way more prevalent this week than it was last week, but it's like, because the sign-up process is in a bar, there's going to be non-comics there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of girls that were streaming in and out this time.
That too, but
And then a lot of thirsty comics. Oh my God, look at the tits on her.
But like, there's also like people that are just there hanging out, kind of just being annoying. You know what I mean? Like that one dude.
I would say there's more annoying comics than non-comics in that room.
No, but that one dude that was like trying to like.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, but he was a friend with a comic or something. I don't know, bro.
Still, like, he's out here trying to socialize. Meanwhile, everyone's like trying to get ready for.
Yeah,
a
that's what was. You know what? Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. The guy. There was a guy like the Kill Tony waiting room, which is Poor Choices, a bar across the street from the mothership. They make all the comics waiting there. If you ever watch Kill Tony, you hear him say, "There's however 100 many poor souls hoping and waiting across the street." Well, we were those poor souls hoping and waiting. And it's just a room full of anxiety because everybody's nervous.
Yeah, there's like an underlying.
I don't even think it's underlying, bro. Like,
Well, no, but everyone has it. Like, it's always there. So it's so underlying that it's like everyone could feel it. You know what I mean?
It's like the nervousness of getting picked, and then if you do get picked, the nervousness of going up.
Yeah.
And then everybody's it's got everybody cheers when the people the way it works is one of the workers for Kill Tony or the mothership runs across the street when the name gets pulled. So he'll run in, and there's a DJ in the bar and all this stuff while everybody's waiting. And as soon as he runs in, you know he's about to get in the building because
everyone starts to stand.
Everyone
up.
just looks towards the door, and then the DJ cuts off the music. The guy gets on the mic, and is like, "And so, you're up next on Kill Tony."
Yeah. And then you have a 10-second count, which is also like, I like that part too, because
if you're not there,
10, 9, and they're like, "Is he here? We're looking for it." And then they're like, "Oh, he's outside." Like,
it's a lot of camaraderie though, because everybody that gets picked, everybody cheers for him. It's like everybody's happy to see people succeed here.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, like the Kill Tony sign up is a lot of micers that like don't have that much skin in the game.
Okay.
So I feel like everybody there is excited because it's like we're literally getting picked out of the slums. Mm-hmm. Like the few established comics that we know of in town and that we met, I didn't see any like sort of enthusiasm.
Okay.
It's mostly just like the newer guys. I like the energy. I'm not gonna lie. I like the sign up process.
Yeah.
One thing that actually Jason mentioned, because he asked us, he's like, "How do you like the Kill Tony Mondays?" And I told him, I'm like, I actually, oddly enough, enjoy the process, even though it's chaotic and it's just pure randomness. And then he said something to me that I really sat and thought about. He's like, "Well, you enjoy the process because there's an actual process here."
Yeah.
It's like comparing to what's going up in Canada, like the comedy scene up there, there is no real process for progression. It's a lot of circle jerking, a lot of jockeying and positioning, and like even the mic scene has pretty much died since COVID. Like Center for Talking Arts and stuff is an exception, but that's like we have like a couple clubs in a multiple city radius. There's like how many mics here, bro? Like
on 6th Street alone, there's like 8 mics.
It's
9 mics.
insane. It's insane. We talked about it on last week's podcast, but the spillover effect from the mothership.
Yeah.
This week we've the after Kill Tony comedy show that we signed up for last week was kind of dead, so we signed up for the opposite one this week, and of course that one was kind of dead this week.
Yeah.
And the one that we signed up for last week was kind of popping.
But was it popping because they had a special guest there beforehand?
Yeah. So finally, let me get a drink here. Don't fuck you, bro. You're off the show, you son of a bitch. After the Kill Tony show, I don't even remember why we split up. Why did we split up?
We split up.
You went to Shakespeare's and I went to Maggie Mae's.
Because I went to go sign us up. And you went to go get some fresh air.
Or Wi-Fi or something. Oh, I went to go make a post.
Yeah.
Because we don't have data out here. Yeah. By the way, if you're ever just visiting the States, just spend the $50 and get a friggin' phone card. Well worth it. But yeah, I think that's actually why we separated. I went to go make a post.
Yep.
So the club across the street had Wi-Fi, and this was right after the Kill Tony show. As soon as I walk in the building, Cam Patterson, I hear his voice, and remember how we went there last week and it was just pure chaos and noise?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's an actual comic on stage right now that people like, because it was pin drop quiet.
Wow.
Other than the laughter.
And I missed that too.
Yeah, this guy was across the street. So I didn't know how long into the set I walked in on, but apparently it was right at the beginning, because I'm pretty sure I saw a whole 7-minute set by Cam.
Yeah.
And bro, just watching him work on stuff, knowing that he's only 3 years in, like that shit is scary to me, because that is literally God-given talent that you didn't even need to work that hard to cultivate. You just naturally, it was insane. If you ever get the chance to go see Cam Patterson perform, Kill Tony regular, go do that. I don't think you would be disappointed. Even though he's still in the building phases of his career, he clearly is, he's very smart about his maneuvering between Kill Tony and other shows. I see we were just at Bricktown with Russell Peters, which we'll talk about, but he was just there.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're a fan of the channel and you're subscribed, then you already know we got interviews up right now with the OG, the Canadian comedy legend, Russell Peters. We also got an interview with Cam Patterson going up.
Spoiler alert. Actually, no, that would be up.
No, it's up. Nigga, this episode, we're recording this early, but they don't see that. They already see those the clips. And we'll talk about that shortly here. Mm-hmm. But it was just refreshing to see. Like, it was absolutely refreshing to see. He worked on 90% new material, and then he closed on the black guy having a small dick. Like, it's not fair that we can't just like be regular or whatever. And I just got this girl pregnant, but we murdering that baby, dog. Okay. We obliterating that baby. Like, I'm pretty sure he did that joke on Kill Tony, but it destroyed. So that's what I'm saying. He's very smart. He has that comedic instinct of, he knows his closers, he knows his strongest bits, and he just worked on shit the entire time. But what was amazing to watch was his energy level and enthusiasm carried him through what would be a bomb for somebody else. Like, his personality, he is so locked into on stage that he's just addressing what's new and what's, like, in terms of his jokes. He's like, this is new, this will work, this won't work. Yeah. And normally that won't be funny if you're actually addressing that, but like, his personality just lends itself perfectly to that type of like straightforward kind of call out. And obviously, like, you got to also question, because he's essentially a god in Austin comedy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anybody that's regular at Mothership, that's a takeaway that I noticed too. Like, even the door guys, like, people just like, it's like holy ground out here. Yeah. If you have that shirt that says crew on the back. Yeah. And
they wear them around.
Oh, they wear them.
They wear them. They, like, you go to any mic, got my crew shirt. They pop their collars out. Make sure it's all ironed. I'm just going to Maggie Mae's, but let me put on my crew shirt.
Joe Rogan, what have you done, bro? What have you done? That's so funny. But good for them, bro. The only thing that I do think exists is like this hierarchy or this like walled garden of the mothership.
Okay.
You can tell there's a clear separation between the Austin comedy scene and the mothership, even though the mothership is kind of the feeder system for the Austin comedy scene. Does that make sense?
Explain the feeder part.
Well, everybody is here because of the mothership.
Yes.
All the new people, the influx of cockroaches, aka comedians. Like I thought it was bad in Toronto, but we don't even really, like, nah, bro. Imagine if Joe Rogan opened a club in Toronto. Oh my God, it's already Roach City with not enough opportunity. Here, at least, there's a whole bunch of other opportunities. Texas is massive. So there's Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. Damn, bro, you can get to Oklahoma in a day,
Yep.
which we did, which we'll talk about shortly. Part of the reason why we're so tired. Almost feels like jet lag. Yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful, yo. And how down to earth was Cam, bro?
Real cool guy.
So you missed obviously the first outing
Yeah.
where I walked into the club and saw him. And then we started walking around, or you walked in after he left.
I walked in just as he left. I'm like, Shakespeare's is kind of dead. Let me go see. Because we were hanging out with another comic, so she was at the other club with us. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna head out and walk around and stuff. I said, okay, so let me go see what's popping at Maggie Mae's.
Walked in as soon as he bounced.
Yeah.
Even got a picture with him outside and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we started walking around. Dante's all like, damn, I missed Cam.
Dang.
And then we ended up at Creek in the Cave.
Yep.
Watched the show a bit for that. Talked to some guys. Ended up leaving and talk about divine timing as we're walking back to get a slice of pizza on
Right
6th
past the
Street.
mothership.
Right beside the mothership. There's a pretty decent pizza spot. Really, like, be about your business if you're gonna get a slice of pizza in there, because they will yell at you. hey, hurry up, order now. But the guy was mad cool.
Yeah, he was
even though he was an ass. It was kind of like,
He wasn't to me. I mean, he seemed pretty chill.
I could see why some people would think he's an ass, because it was very abrasive. Hey,
Darn, he's got to get through customers. If you're clogging up the line,
I'm just saying that wouldn't happen in Canada.
no.
And I'm not
they
saying
wouldn't
it's a
have
bad
that-
thing.
They wouldn't even have that big of a line in Canada. 'Cause the pizza's not that good.
Yeah, and also we're just not as authentic as people in Canada. That's one thing I definitely noticed. In the States, these like, it's very real. I think the rest of the world sees it as arrogance, but to me, I just see it as confidence. Like, these people know who they are. They have a sense of self. They have a sense of identity. Canada has a lot of imposter syndrome. We hide behind this vanity of niceness. I've been saying this the entire time I'm here. Texas feels like what Canada pretends to be. Canada gets the rep for being the nice place and all the nice people, but it's if you're actually in Canada, then you know what I'm saying is true. It's like a veneer. It's nice because that's our thing. People hide behind that, but there's a lot of
People hide behind being nice. They're not actually
correct.
nice.
There's a lot of inauthenticity, and that's why I appreciate American culture so much, and I can get why it would be mistaken as arrogance or whatever, cockiness or whatever. But realistically, man, these guys just know who they are, and they're not ashamed. And also, it might be because there's illegal guns in the States, so you just kind of have to be like a decent human being out here, because you don't know. There's at least one person that's not, you know, and you don't want to be on their bad side. But this past weekend, absolute whirlwind of a weekend in terms of comedy. Like, more things have happened for my comedy career in this past week than probably all of the 13 years in Canada. What's really apparent to me is that there's not one single goddamn Canadian credit that matters outside of Canada. I would say if you think it matters inside of Canada, then you are delusional, and you're very small-minded, because yes, technically Canada has an entertainment industry, but technically,
Yeah.
but we really do not. We have a really nice gated community where a couple people let another couple people to the top. the top is actually the bottom of the American top. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the opportunities that you think are opportunities, once you get here and you actually touch and experience real opportunities, bruh, I'm going back to Canada with such a better sense of self, personally and professionally. I'm going back with a greater sense of purpose and a wider vision and scope for what my comedy career is capable of doing, what I'm capable of doing through and with it. Yeah, man, to any Canadian comedian or anybody in a market outside of America, if you're a comic or an artist or an entertainer, like, get out and see some other shit 100%. Go and actually, like, see a real market, see real opportunity, see random strangers supporting random stranger comedians. It's not just the mothership out here. People are thirsty for comedy out here, and they go check out a wide range of stuff. Whereas in Canada, you have to work tirelessly to build a small little audience and then work for years to grow that tiny little audience. Whereas here, literally, you can hit the ground running and have an audience within days, weeks, months.
Yeah, if you have some time somewhere else and you so happen to get Kill Tony your first week,
Yeah,
you got a following.
that's crazy too.
Right? Because if you do like 5 years outside of Austin, 5 years in Canada, 5 years in Europe somewhere, and you're like decently funny, and then you get on Kill Tony, you have a following that you can then.
Or even if you don't get on Kill Tony, man. I think the play is get your comedy stage time in another market, get your skill level up to a point where you have a decent 5, 10, 20. Hell, if you can headline by the time you get out here, more power to you. I don't know that I would have. Man, I don't know what it was. There was a long list of reasons why I never left, and we've been talking about it on the podcast for so long now. But now, like, it's solidified. We are actually plugged in. We're doing shows in America. We're seeing shows. We're plugged into the community out here, and feeling like I actually have a lay of the land. Not even just in Texas. Like, talking to the OGs, talking to the people that are more established in comedy. They just show you the branches all the way out, like all that stretch all the way across this country. And there is no market anywhere in the world that is the American entertainment market. America invented entertainment. It's their business. Like, show business is American. So they do it the best. So anywhere you are, get your time in and get good, and you will do so much better when you come stateside.
Do you think it's going to be harder to get good here in Austin versus somewhere else?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I say get your stage time in a smaller market. Even if it's not in Canada or somewhere else like this. Like one of the guys that we were talking to, I forget who, but he's like, man, there's so many small little markets. Oh, when we were at Bricktown in Oklahoma, the host.
Oh, yeah.
He was saying, go to a small market. You'll get way more stage time, and you'll actually grow faster. But because you're in America, you'll also be plugged into a real industry a lot quicker.
Like, that dude was doing decent, and that's just like the Tulsa market.
Yeah.
You know, like the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Fort Worth. Like, he was just saying he bounces around those couple of clubs, and he's, I mean, look.
Working constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, the population exists here. The club infrastructure exists here.
Can we talk about that manager, too, at Bricktown? A real comedy fan?
Bruh, I wish we had his name. Do you remember his name?
No.
Okay. I don't remember his name either, but we'll get there when we start talking about Oklahoma. Yeah, man, just having a real infrastructure makes such a world of difference, you know? And just how open everybody is. I don't know how to describe it really, but Canada, there's like attention.
They're more forthcoming with the information here. They're like, yeah, this is what I do. Here you go.
Yeah, there's definitely that. There's 100% that. I mean, again, it took 13 years for me to finally get some real opportunity and information out of some OGs, but they haven't been around, so I haven't had the direct access to them. The people that I have had direct access with, like the OGs up in Canada, like other than like a Kenny Robinson or some of these guys, you know, like Joe at the Corner Comedy Club. Like I wouldn't even get into really producers, mostly comics, man. The comics that have been doing it longer than me, that you ask advice, at least for me, bro, it's been a lot of circle jerky advice. It's been a lot of advice that leads you down a dark alley with no exit. And that's not to say that they're doing that maliciously or on purpose, but it does feel like there is this sense of like rivalry as opposed to camaraderie. And in the States, it's the complete opposite. What I feel is more camaraderie than rivalry. You got people plugging you in everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That we've never met. Whereas people that I've known for years, like I said, giving me just wishy-washy advice or really non-answer answers. You know, it's just go do it, yo. I said this last week, but the whole thing about advice is you're not supposed to take all of it in. Like, really know who you are as a person and what applies to you and hold on to that dearly. And whatever else doesn't, yeah, like, don't necessarily throw it all away, but you, like, know what applies to you and what doesn't. Know who has your best intentions at heart. Because in a smaller market where it's more cutthroat and there's less quote-unquote opportunities to go around, you think someone that has taken that time, that has had to fight their way to whatever opportunities they have, like wants to give that up? Whereas in the States, there's just, opportunities are so plentiful that you don't care about giving something up because you already have your 80 other opportunities over here.
Yep.
And one thing I noticed too is that they'll put you in their spot. They'll give you their spot if they think you're better for it.
Yeah.
It's, again, I'm not saying that all of Canada and Canadian comedy is like this, but for I've been in it for 13 years. That's what I've experienced mostly, especially up there. It's just more limited spots, lower ceiling, which means there's just less opportunity to go around. And unless you're really tight with somebody, you know what I mean, then, hey, we're back. Just dealing with some technical difficulties. Not even technical, it's just a fire alarm battery that's going out. So if you hear a beeping noise, it is what it is, baby. But yeah, let's run down the road trip that we just had this weekend. Starting with, what day was it?
Friday.
So Friday, met up with the OG Jason Rouse, hung out with him for a bit, and ended up at Vulcan Gas Company. So we got to check out Vulcan Gas Company. There's a show called Midnight Mass on Fridays there. They actually had like an audience at midnight. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the biggest audience, especially if you're a fan of Kill Tony and you've seen like the Vulcan full.
At its, I think that was its peak.
Definitely at its peak. Yeah, what'd you think of the Vulcan Gas
A
Company?
lot smaller than I thought it was. Like on Kill Tony, even though you only see the stage,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's like.
It's because that stage is so big that your mind, without knowing the rest of the room, you think
exactly.
it's a massive like theater or whatever.
Exactly.
But the room is actually mostly stage. It's like.
And then there's like the balcony and
Yeah.
like the. So
To be
like,
fair though, you definitely get a couple hundred people in there.
100. It's still a big room.
Yeah.
I just thought it was bigger than what it was.
Or at least more seat layout
I just thought it was bigger.
in general.
Yeah.
I feel like even that that whole empty space that they had there, like you know how there was the stage, then there was the first row of seats,
Yeah, and then there's that gap.
then there's gap, and then all the other tables and seats. I feel like they obviously took out.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine with that balcony being full up top would be wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to check out and touch the stage at Vulcan Gas Company. Good reception too, man.
Yep.
Like even though it wasn't the biggest crowd, comedy fans.
Comedy fans.
People, and they didn't know the comics, you know? And I feel like that's the type of room, or I guess that environment, like when you're in a show like that, and let's just say it's not like elite, getting laughs in a room like that, man, like lets you know that whatever jokes got those laughs will work in a bigger, better environment.
For sure.
But grateful, man. Grateful we got to touch Vulcan and see that. Still haven't gone to Sunset Strip.
Not yet.
No. We're going to try and hit that up at least once before we get out of here. What was next up? So I guess that takes us to Saturday. And Saturday takes us on the road right bright and early from the 8 a.m. Drove from Austin, Texas, all the way to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. OKC, baby. 6-hour drive each way, which you might say that's kind of insane. What did you do, an open mic? Please.
Open mics.
Open mic. The pinky's up, ladies and gentlemen. No, probably one of the greatest experiences of my comedy career thus far. Driving out that far to link up with the absolute legend in Canadian comedy, Russell Peters, who is headlining one of the nicest clubs I've seen in general. Like, and I'm sure those types of clubs exist all across America.
Yeah, that's like the standard. That's
Exactly.
like the in and out of clubs.
It is. Bricktown Comedy Works, or Comedy Club in OKC. Gorgeous club.
Yep.
Like 300-seat venue. Everything about that place is exactly like, damn, bro, they just treat comedy different out here.
Yeah.
I don't even want to name names of clubs or anything like back home, but from the staff to the layout of the room
Yep.
to just the overall atmosphere and vibe of the place,
Yep.
like they give a damn, bro.
Yep.
Like you were saying earlier, the manager there, which unfortunately we don't know the name of,
I mean, we'll just DM Russell Peters. What's the name of that guy again?
bro, this guy, like, to have a guy that's actually a super fan of comedy running a club
Yeah.
is
One of the most super fans of anything I've ever seen.
it makes a world of difference.
This guy's whole being is committed.
Like the manager there, he has comedians' actual signatures. So I would imagine one of the bonuses of being a manager at a poppin' comedy club and being a comedy fan is that your favorites are gonna roll through and they're gonna perform there. You'll get to actually interact with them.
Yep.
Like saw him get a poster signed by Russell, and what I know he's gonna do with that, like the manager there had his 2 arms done up, full sleeves, tattoos. Well, all of them were comedian signatures.
Yeah.
And I gotta imagine it's all comedians that have rolled through his club.
Yeah.
Like, just like he got Russell to sign the thing, you probably just get a digital copy.
scan of that.
Exactly. Give it to a tattoo artist, and bam, you got Russell Peters' signature on you. But he literally sleeved up.
Sleeved.
And they were all comedians.
Yeah.
Even Rouse was impressed.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't see Rouse get impressed that often.
I know. Yeah.
What'd you think of that club?
I thought it was sick. Like, it was cool. It was like darker, right? Like it wasn't too bright. Like when we went to Laugh Out Loud San Antonio, the walls are like tan. You know what I mean?
The walls were tan and the ceiling was missing.
Yeah, and like
Just open
the
concept
sun
ceiling.
was shining through, right through the back.
True.
This one, like even though they're both clubs, this one seems like it was set up to be a good club. Like no windows, just darkness.
Yeah.
Brick wall.
Brick walls, lower
Dark
ceilings.
paint on the walls. The paintings were in black and white. You know what I mean? Just like, so nothing interferes with the stage.
Correct.
The stage is the only place with color.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Comedians. Yo, and shout outs to Aaron Belial, bro. You know, that probably, like, the reason why that was such a monumental moment for me in my comedy life so far is because we're sitting in the room, in the green room,
Yep.
with the king of Canadian comedy,
Yep.
Russell Peters. We're sitting there with the OG Jason Rouse, who also came up with Russ. Like they're like this. And then it's us and Aaron Belial.
Yep.
All Canadian comedians in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Sitting in the green room, torching it up.
Yeah.
Like, and what I didn't really take until after it was said, right as the night was ending, because the only one that wasn't Canadian in the green room was the host.
And the other guy.
Who? Oh, okay.
He wasn't Canadian. He's the LA
He was
guy.
the middle? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay, fair enough. But still, like the majority Canadian comedians.
Yeah, we outnumbered them like 6-2.
And at the end of the night, Jason goes to the host and he's like, wait, I want to ask you something because I've been seeing like you make these faces. Was it like a night and day difference hanging out with the Canadian comedians versus when you're in a green room full of American comedians? And the guy's face like lit up.
Yep.
He's like, you guys are just so like chill and cool. And it was all of us. Like the thing about Russell, this is my second time getting to meet Russell. First actual time getting to hang out with him, talk to him.
No, this was like a full-on
Bruh.
hang.
Let me explain to you how
Yo,
we're
this guy got
watching UFC.
roasted. Yo.
How we're watching UFC with Russell in a green room at a comedy club in Oklahoma.
That's probably one of my favorites because like
You're a fight nerd.
we're a fight nerd. We were talking boxing. Like I was literally like, Russell Peters was literally sitting like.
He
right
got
here.
impressed by you. He got
I
impressed by your
know.
fight knowledge. Yeah, okay, Mars.
But like, it felt like all my years of watching UFC leads up to me watching it with Russell Peters, calling out moves. Like I'm like,
That was the crazy thing to me, because like we were watching the UFC live event, and obviously Joe Rogan and DC and them on commentary.
yeah.
But the commentary for the room that we were in was this guy and Russell just yelling back and forth at the TV, like, do this move, do that, no, don't do that. And then they're just yelling out moves. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What was the stat that you impressed him with? Whose move?
Oh.
They were talking about a lock.
Yeah. So there. Now I'm forgetting his name, but something Estima, like Jose Estima or something like
The
that.
Estima lock?
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, the Estima lock. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then even Rouse started laughing.
Yeah.
Bro, this is how I came up. And I kind of watched it, at least in my community, go away. Like, the reason I resonate with Patrice and the Comedy Cellar and all those stories is because I am a comedian because of getting roasted.
Yep.
Like, I've talked about this before, but in high school, the lunch table is where I really became a comedian. Like, I'd always been a funny guy. I'd always been, like, the goofy. But, like, getting roasted, especially when you're black, by black people, or black adjacent,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's roasting elite. And that's exactly what, like, Canadian comedy is like, just busting each other's balls.
Exactly. Back and forth. You got to be on your toes.
Literally tennis
You
matches.
say one
Bam,
wrong
bam,
thing.
bam. I got an AO from Russell Peters.
And that was probably one of the funniest things because
I can't stand you,
He
nigga.
didn't see it coming. He
No, I
walked
set
right-
myself up so perfectly. It was awful. We're eating chicken wings, and they had like this dry rub that they said was like the house special or whatever. And most of us got chicken wings, and then Russ comes back from the first show, and orders some food. And as he's eating, I'm like, Russ, do you like dry rub
Yeah, do
or
you want-
sauce?
Do you want the dry rub or the sauce? And
Do you
Russ
like,
was
do you prefer dry rub or sauce? And Russ, without even breathing, bro, he goes, hey, yo. And then I just look at Dante, I'm like, fuck. Of all things, for me to get AO'd by Russell.
Peters.
Oh my God. Yo, Cam and Macy ruined my life. Dante, you're off the show.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
This guy was laughing for 2 minutes straight. He couldn't
know.
even keep his composure.
He was hurt. It's like, why me?
I'm like, why
the-
me? Why in front of Dante?
Why
no.
the
Well, not an AEO. I would have taken anything else. He was hitting me with the Ethiopian hunger stuff.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is, like, so this being the second time I met Russ, this was your first.
Yes.
Bro, he's such a down-to-earth guy that he treats everybody around him like you've known him for 20 years.
Yeah.
And especially if you have some skin in the game in comedy, it's just a night and day difference, bro. it's just a night and day difference. Like that to me is a standard to live up to. Like not even just in terms of funniness and fame.
Yeah.
In terms of how you treat others.
Yeah.
This is why I have separated myself from the majority of the scene, because especially the scene in Canada, bro, from what I've experienced, is just snakish. There's a lot of snakes in the grass, you know? And the older I get, the more I'm comfortable just like being around the same crew of people that I know is actually like solid. I would rather deal with the same people that I know I can trust what they have to say because they're not trying to get one over on me, as opposed to have to think about how to interpret what these people are telling me. Is this real advice? Like, is this a real opportunity? Da 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 da, so on and so on.
Yeah.
Like that to me is a real standard. So for us, like me, Aaron Belial, Russell Peters, and Jason Rouse,
Yeah.
like I'm still just processing it all, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm still just processing it all. If I wasn't so tired, I'd be screaming right now. And just a road trip, like that's.
Road trip was fun too.
But road tripping also with a purpose, because I've done these road trips before in Canada, and you drive out to Montreal or whatever, but you're driving out to do like some rinky-dink show. Like this was, like I don't know, bro. This is everything that I envisioned comedy to be when I started.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got good before I got out here, but still, I could have been out here so much sooner and gotten so much better, so much faster.
Yeah. But then
But-
these same opportunities wouldn't have happened the way
Divine
they did.
timing. Divine timing. Everything happens as it should when it should. Yeah, man. And we drove right back.
The same night.
Like pure, and I was on pure adrenaline. I drove the 6 hours there and I drove the 6 hours back.
Yeah.
Like the tiredness hit me when we got back, but
Yeah.
that whole day was.
Well, and then because then we get to Rouse's spot, and he's like, "So you guys head back to San Antonio?"
Yeah.
Like we were so ready to crash.
I'm like, oh no, I'm ready to sleep right now. He's like, nah, he just got back. He was in Copenhagen.
So then we had to drive an extra hour, so we're like a 7 hour, and then that's when I drove, which was a nice drive.
Thank you.
Texas, driving in Texas early in the morning, when the sun is not blazing on you.
Yeah.
But you still get the setting of
You got the
Texas.
sunrise, like.
Yeah, well, the sun was kind of already up, but it wasn't blazing. Like, it wasn't hot yet.
I'd say just driving in Texas in general is better. Wider lanes,
Yeah.
faster speed limits.
Yeah, but I'm saying take away the burning hot air, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yo, I
That
can't
adds
lie,
to-
man. I kind of like the weather out here.
no, I like the weather too, but I'm just saying, that morning drive
Yeah.
was nice. Like,
Oh, wow.
I was just vibing. Like, I know you're sleeping, but I was listening to Karunga Band. This is such
This
a,
guy keeps bumping that Karunga bit.
dog, when you're in Texas, you listen to that Mexican OT
Whew, it's been a lot of Mexican OT.
and that Karunga Band. Those are the two things.
Yeah, man. And then we got to see Creek in the Cave. They do a bucket mic there. Homie got pulled out of the bucket.
Yep.
Touched Creek in the Cave. Like we're leaving here with a lot of amazing footage.
Yep.
A lot of amazing experiences. A lot of amazing new friends
Yep.
and connections.
Wait, you're black?
Yo, shout out. Stay locked in. Once again, if you are an actual fan of comedy, then you're on the right channel. This is an actual comedy channel run by comedians for comedy fans. I'm calling out all the BS. There's too many people talking about comedy on the internet that have no skin in the game and don't know a damn thing outside of the Joe Rogan community. My nigga, you do not know comedy. All you know is Joe Rogan and what he's doing. Whatever channel. Look on my Instagram. I call them out on Instagram. Might as well do it here. Joke World and Podcast Cringe. Podcast Cringe I have a little more respect for because at least he's taking a different slant on it. And I can't even say I don't have respect for Joke World either. It's just, I'm sick of it, bruh. All these people that have no skin in the game, that don't actually know the game of comedy, that claim to be telling you, the audience, we're going to show you this is comedy. And then every clip or video they release is of a Kill Tony podcast or JRE. I'm like, first of all, you don't know comedy. Second of all, you don't know anything outside of Joe Rogan. Third of all, like, what are you actually looking to show people? You know what I mean? Obviously, I get that Joe Rogan is the most popping thing right now. Then just say you're that. Just say you're the Joe Rogan Experience Light. You know what I mean? Don't, like, we're in this now, and we actually are about this. We're locked in. If you want an actual authentic, we've been saying this from the jump. If you want an authentic behind the scenes look at what it is to be a comedian on the come up this day and age, we're not even just doing it from Canada anymore, bro. We're going worldwide with it. We're gonna expose every nook and cranny from the Joe Rogan crew all the way down to the micers. And you will see we've only released the Russell Peters interview and the Cam Patterson interview, but we have a ton of interviews ready to go up. And you guys actually want to know what it's like to be a comedian or get a better sense of what it is at every level, this is the place to be.
Yep.
Even people that are comedy adjacent, we're talking to the security, we're talking to tattoo artists that are plugged in, we're talking to everybody. We got to start talking to more staff too. I want to start interviewing more staff.
Yep.
But yeah.
We should get some of the door guys from Mothership.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. But I don't know, maybe.
While they're on
We'll
the job
get who we get, because like the mothership is so locked down.
Yeah, true.
That I'm really only approaching the black guys that I know are cool. But the rest of all those white dudes there are all uptight looking, like they don't talk or dap or.
Yeah, because
there was one guy.
ex-military.
There was one guy with the speakers the one day where we were sitting in the he was chill, but
chill.
everybody else looks like they're ready to punch somebody.
Because they are. They have to be.
No, that's the security's job. Joe Rogan has 6 like off-duty officers in uniform. It's definitely not the guy who takes the fucking tickets to be punching people up.
Oh, okay.
That's not his job.
About those guys.
Yeah, like
okay.
that's not his job. That's like that walled garden effect, I think.
Oh,
it's like, yo,
okay.
we're in the mothership crew. Don't talk to me.
they look
How
down at
dare
him.
you talk to me? I have a mothership crew shirt. Not all the guys are like that, and I'm not even saying, whatever. Some of y'all give up that vibe though. It's just been a really amazing experience. Shout outs to Austin, Texas comedy scene. Shout outs to everybody here grinding and trying their hardest to do something proper. I respect it, I rate it. But if you're a new comic, get some skin in the game before you come onto a scene like this so you can present yourself a little better. Or otherwise you're just jumping into a sea of open micers that are already known and established in the scene, and it's going to be harder for you to kind of get stage time while you're out here.
Yeah, you will stand out a lot more if you come to Austin with some skill.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and this is no disrespect, but like the level of the open micers, it actually, I think, dips lower here in Austin because there's a dude that went up on stage and didn't even tell a joke.
Yeah, did we mention Pepperoni?
Yeah.
We mentioned him last episode, right?
I think so. No, not by name, but.
Okay, well, Pepperoni, that's not his full name, but there's a comedian out here that identifies as a pizza maker. Either a pizza maker or a pizza slice. And it was just god awful, and that was the first day we landed.
Yeah.
I gotta apologize to you, my guy. You're actually doing something all right.
Yes.
Compared to whatever the hell we just witnessed. Yeah, I'll put it at the front of this episode. Because it's in my story feed on IG right now. Some guy went up on stage. I don't want to mention his name or too many specifics because I feel like he's not all there. Bro, did you see the way he got off stage?
He just got off.
You're downplaying it. This guy walks up on stage. It's an open mic, right? He gets called up on stage and he brings up his own speaker and like, you know those like scoops, like to pick up garbage off the ground. They got the claws.
Yeah. Like a dirt scoop.
Yeah,
almost.
like a dirt scoop. So he walks up on stage with a little portable amp, and then and a scoop. He leaves the mic in the stand, goes and turns on the speaker, and starts playing music. He was playing "Date Rape" by Sublime. If you've ever heard that song, Sublime's a big band, so I'm sure, and that's like one of their second biggest songs or something like that. He starts playing the song, and with the scoop, he starts mouthing the words into the microphone. But he's not singing along or anything. It's the scoop like singing, and he's like twirling it
He's
to
like
the music.
puppeteering the scoop.
He's puppeteering the scoop. and I'm getting, bro, it took like a minute for me to really just, I started breaking down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is really happening.
Like, bro, I really started breaking down.
Someone
I'm like,
get
I don't
the
think
hook and pull him off stage.
I don't think I've ever witnessed something as abysmal as that on stage. That's why I like Pepperoni, bro. Like, salutes to you,
Yeah,
dog.
Pepperoni's elite compared to
Woo!
this guy.
He should be opening for Russell compared to.
Yeah, because at least Pepperoni had jokes. This guy he had no jokes.
Bro, he didn't have a word. That's what was upsetting. That was what's like, bro, don't. That mic, that stage is sacred. And even though there's a lot of scrubs and bums running around here, at least they take it seriously. That's why, like, I won't be talking shit on comics like that, like podcast cringe. Like, if it's cool, yeah, he's calling out the hypocrisy of whatever the fuck, like he likes to say. Mm-hmm. But dog, you're not a comic. You've never done this. You have no idea what it takes. And for you to never put your own face on your own channel, for your entire channel to be other famous people, and you to take some sort of credit like you're doing anything, shut the fuck up. Joke World, shut the fuck up. You're not doing anything for comedy. You're not exposing comedy to anybody. You're not doing anything but trying to jump on a Joe Rogan clout train. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's it. That's 100% what is taking place with these channels. And it's not even just them too. They're probably the most prominent ones that I can think of right now. But all these comedy channels are popping, like starting to show up on YouTube and stuff. And these guys actually get money. Mm-hmm. It's monetized.
Yep.
Podcast Cringe has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers to his thing. Never once shown his face. Never once stepped on stage. Never once touched a mic. But he has the audacity to talk shit about people that have actually done something in their life. Nigga, go do something with your life. I'll like go touch the stage and maybe I'll actually respect your opinion on something you've never done. Mm-hmm. How can you have an opinion on something you've never done and then only talk shit about that thing and then also make a living off that? You're whack. You're absolutely whack. Comedy will not miss you if you disappear. Like, you provide nothing to the actual space of comedy. These are my thoughts. Dante doesn't necessarily align with this. But it's like, bruh, we're calling out the hypocrisy. How about that? We're calling out the hypocrisy on the people that are calling out the hypocrisy in the comedy. Nigga, you're not doing nothing. You're not doing nothing but clout chasing. It's abysmal. It's abysmal. What we're gonna do right now, we'll do a quick UFC recap because UFC 303 just happened, International Fight Week. But after that, we're gonna throw to a bit of an interview with the OG Jason Rouse that we conducted backstage at Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City. We were there with Russell. We got a bunch of interviews with a bunch of guys. Jason Rouse was one of them. So we're gonna cut to that interview, and then after that is gonna cut into Jason on the podcast right here, right now. So stay locked in. But before we get there, let's do a UFC 303 recap. Let's just do the two main fights. I don't care about the rest of it.
The two main fights.
Yeah.
What were the two main ones?
Well, the co-main and the main.
Dan Ige?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that was a short notice fight. Like, that was like a 3-hour fight. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
He put up a valiant effort. Respect.
What happened? Did you end up finding out what happened?
I don't even care.
With Ortega?
Ortega pulled out. That's all that matters.
So wasn't the whole thing at first that he didn't make weight, so they were going to change the weight class?
Yep.
Which sounds insane to me. How do you even do that?
They do catchweight fights and stuff.
I know they do catchweight, but they said it was a different class. It wasn't even a catchweight.
Because he probably missed it by 10 pounds. I don't
So
know.
then what? Diego has to gain weight? Or like...
Well, he's going to put that weight back on anyways.
He's
nowhere near 145.
I guess. Okay, Mars. 145.
145.
I can't wait for you guys to see that interview. That's going to be so fun. Shout outs to Mars, bro.
Shout out to Mars.
One of my favorite people in Austin, bro. Like, you can't miss him when you're out there.
No.
Just look for the Lenny Kravitz looking nigga with checkerboard socks.
But yeah, so, I mean, Danny Gay essentially coming off the couch.
Danny Gay.
Okay. Essentially
Okay.
coming off the couch, you know, a couple hours, puts up a good fight. And he almost got him out of there in the second and third round. Like, he was really close.
I was locked into comedy at that point, so I wasn't really able to pay attention to the fight, so I don't even think I saw the outcome of that. I'm not sure I saw the outcome of anything that night.
You saw Alex one. You were in the room there. Because that's when Russell had just come off stage.
Okay, yeah, I did see that, but like that's not where my mind was at.
Yeah, 'cause you had just gotten off stage.
Yeah, like I just opened for Russell Peters, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
But okay,
like,
so anyways, the main event.
God.
Like we saw Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Page. But then anything before that we didn't really see.
Okay. What do you think of the main event?
It went exactly as I said it would go.
Probably even worse. Probably even worse for Yuri.
I'm not surprised.
Well, I don't think he should be. He's doing black magic and voodoo, and I don't think nigga, go connect with your ancestors, bro. Aren't you a samurai Viking guy? Like
His ancestors are not samurai, though.
I know,
He read a book.
and that's why he's like, please. I know this stuff is real, so can you not? We should be fighting man to man. I'm like, nigga, man to man is spirit, so you figure it out.
Fighting is spirit versus spirit.
Like, come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. That pissed me off. Oh no, don't do your rituals. And then all these other people now online are like, he's doing black magic. I'm like, bro, first of all, if you are melanated, then stop falling for these white parlor tricks. Your voodoo, your Santeria, your whatever black magic, whatever, is not actually black magic. How about that? They're just afraid of it because they don't understand it. But like, tap into your ancestors, tap into your lineage, tap into your history, and you too could be Chama. Chama.
Yeah. But it literally went exactly as I said.
Yeah.
He is going to walk into a left hand. That's the only outcome for that fight. And in the last second of the first round, he basically gets slept.
Yeah.
He only gets a minute to recover. How much more recovery can you do in that minute? Comes back, second round, left high kick.
Oh, it was a clean kick too.
Clean. To the dome. You want to know why? Because his hands were down.
I sent you that,
Yeah.
bruh.
But
Don't
his
be
hands-
posting your fight strategies before the fight. I never understand this.
No, but you can do what Peyton Talbot did.
Oh, fake.
He did a fake one. He's like, so what he does, he has a bladed stance. What you want to do is attack the legs. The guy goes to attack his legs, hits it with the overhand right, sleeps in the first round. That's fire.
That's genius.
That's genius.
But for Jiri to be a samurai and then post all his strategies before the fight, shout outs to Poetan, man. Smart.
I mean, he's an elite kickboxer. No one should be trying to strike with him. Just don't.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try and swim with a shark, bruh? Why?
Here's a question for you. Has Poetan surpassed Izzy?
100%.
That's crazy. Isn't that funny?
Not really.
Now Izzy's the guy that's in the bar. I keep seeing that meme. Now
Yeah.
Izzy has become Poetan in the bar, chirping about, I beat him one
That's why
time.
you keep your mouth closed.
I beat him one time.
That's why you keep your mouth closed. You don't need to say everything. Right? He was saying that, trying to get the clicks. Now look what happened.
Ah, well, I say everything. Fuck them other comedy channels.
I think he has because one, 2-division champ,
Yeah.
defended the belt in the higher weight class, the heavier weight class. You know, he beat everybody that Izzy didn't beat. You know, like he beat Jan and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, Izzy was a good middleweight, but he wasn't 2-division champion.
No. It'll be tough for him to get that now. But yeah, let's wrap the UFC talk there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Rouse. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. We will see you next week back in the studio. Gang, gang. Shout outs to Austin, Texas. Shout outs to San Antonio. Shout outs to Oklahoma. Shout outs to all of American comedy. It's actually real out here. The promised land is no joke. The people are no joke. Just the food is no joke. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Get out of Canada.
There's not even like, you're not getting any money. But the fact that you can be on a level of this show and have everything land where it's supposed to land. All those shitty rooms and terrible gigs across the country to be on a show where people don't know who you are, but you got the King of Toronto with his people that are in place in America have come here. This is Richmond Street, Yuck Yucks, and it's in Oklahoma.
I'm respectful.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
So I started smoking pot.
But
But yeah, knocked it out of the park.
Did you set me up
fact,
because you
yeah,
told me that story of you sobering up before one of these experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me high. And
Yeah, I knew you were gonna. In fact, I gave you my spot to, especially because you were high, and you probably had an anxiety level where the marijuana eclipsed all that, and you're more present and loose. You were loose. You look radiant. You look like, oh, okay. I've known you, 8 years?
You've known me my entire career.
Your entire career. So every 3.5 years, we cross paths. Sometimes you're performing, sometimes you're not. But because of that length of that time, you haven't done anything but this. Mm-hmm. So there's no point of, you can hear it out there. These are sold out shows.
Like, people actually come and have a good time here.
There was no celebrity or.
Trying to get through?
Go ahead.
Just push through, bro. No worries.
And so it was all talent. It had nothing to do with whether or not you had a social media following or had been on American television where people would recognize you and were like, oh, like Aaron probably was peppered with people like, oh my God, that's the guy from America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And they're already rooting for him anyway. And then he delivers the funny and they're like blown away. So you were in a fucking, the dishwasher had the same credits you had here. You know what I mean? And you came off a hero at the end of it. So yeah, no, it's good.
Salutes to the
Still got
general.
some more days. You got to kill Tony, sign up. You got to be there bright and early.
Yeah.
And sit in that cesspool.
I'm down. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
that's
it.
The thing. It's nice to have a chance to get dirty once in a while. Like I say, I call it getting wet. Go get wet. There's a lot of kids when you were hanging out. You don't push me in the pool. My mother said I'm not allowed to get wet. That kid is a loser. It's anybody who's walked home with wet jeans knows that it takes a special kind of character to get through that.
Yeah.
Get your jeans wet.
Can I ask you a couple questions? Can we do what we've been doing all the comments?
Sure.
All right,
I don't have to go on.
I'm just gonna slate it in.
Now. I was a little nervous.
For me?
No, not for you. I knew you were gonna do fine, but I wanted you to do great, and I'm sure you wanted to do great. You didn't come all the way here to do mediocre shit. Yeah.
Correct.
You can't get by on that. All the people who've come out here from Canada are all exceptional talents, and couldn't be more. The last 12 Canadians that have come to Austin have zero in common. Comedically, their tastes, their styles, but all have one thing in common. They kill it in America. And there hasn't been because there was Russell was already doing the UK, and a lot of guys moved to England. A handful of guys have moved to the US, but most of them went to Europe in the early 2000s. So between 2000 and we'll say 2 to maybe about 5 years ago, there's been no Canadian moving. But the internet has globalized comedy to a degree that all these channels are open. You just got to put your head to the railroad tracks and you'll hear a train coming. You can't ignore comedy now. It's everywhere. It's the biggest fucking juggernaut in entertainment.
And the ones with actual
It's all
skill.
done with this
Little
mic
thing.
and a camera.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? We are checking in with Jason Rouse here in Austin, Texas. My OG from Hamilton, Ontario. When I started comedy, this guy was already established. We talked about him. We already showed some of the interview earlier, but now we're here with the guy himself. I'm high as tits, but it's not even real weed, I don't think.
I'm a bit high.
It's what, just standing around me?
No, the that Delta 8.
Yeah.
Is it Delta 8?
It's Delta 8. I don't know. They have like, it's not synthetic, but they do something to the weed. They got Delta 8 and then THCA here.
They put it through a Brita and take out all the cool shit. That's what happens. The cool stuff, the health aspects are in place, but the cool part of it is not.
How you like being in Austin, Jason?
I love it. I love it. You know, December 15th will be my 3rd year?
Yeah.
Or 4th year. I can't remember. The first year I moved here, they had a 80-year-old snow record broken. And when I'd first got here, people would explain to me on how mild the winters were. But weeks later, there was 18 inches of snow, no power, no water. And I'm sitting there fucking going, I didn't come all the way to Texas to make snow angels. Yeah, no, it was...
As a Canadian, that's got to be fucking...
I was pissed because I didn't think there was
escaped.
going to be any snow. Yeah. Anyway, that's what Canadians talk about, the weather, because it's soul destroying. But I've had a Facebook memory pop up from probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was me posted that I had some curiosities and questions about whether or not Austin would be a good place for me to do comedy. And I remember a couple of years before I had started comedy, friends of mine that were in a band in Hamilton called Shallow, North Dakota. And they'd just come back from South by, which was the big...
South by Southwest?
Yeah.
Then they used to actually showcase comedy too, no? Like they had a comedy show or something like this?
Yeah, but again, they weren't paying the comics. A lot of these American festivals where you have to pay a submission, an application fee to get an audition to do a comedy festival you're not getting paid at. Seems to be everybody else is getting paid except the acts. So I had heard good things about the city of Austin, and music was one of the main parts. And I realized earlier in my career, I'd spent a lot of time being around bands and musicians and bars and nightclubs like that. And those people tend to get me a little quicker than the average bear.
Yeah.
So when Austin was going to be a possibility, I knew that there was a very strong music scene here, and there was some place in between comedy and the music where I would function. Well, I show up, and there's like nothing going on, yet the Vulcan on 6th Street is like the jam in Austin for like a year and a half.
For everything, like live music, comedy, all that shit?
It was eclipsing everything. The shows we had at Vulcan, all of them were sold out. No matter what we were doing there, every show was sold out. And you had Tim Dillon and so on and so forth drop in and do spots. So it had this comedy store celebrity in the city of Austin. They never had some high-profile comedians just dropping in to see their friends in this city before. So, and, you know, Ron White being Texan, and there was already a lot of great comics in the state. So as things kind of built and comedy clubs started opening, and it was pretty interesting to see over the course of 2 years, this city went from one comedy club, which I think it was Cap City, to 8 or 9 comedy clubs within 10 months.
And literally within 10 feet of each other, like...
Yeah, it's like every 2 months a comedy club would open up. And a series of chain of events.
What was the order? Like, was Creek already a thing? Creek in the Cave?
Yeah, Creek in the Cave was the first outside entity to set up shop here. Creek in the Cave was a very popular, long-running comedy club in New York City.
Okay.
Legion Skanks had done their podcast out of there for years. Countless shows. Skankfest, their first Skankfests were there. And they packed up and opened up shop here in Austin. And that took a while.
Same crew?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Rebecca.
Yeah.
She had opened up the club here. And there was a long period before that, actually, came to light too. There was delays and things like that.
Yeah.
And then after that, the Sunset at a different location. Well, one of the owners, or the owners, suddenly died.
Oh shit.
So they were getting ready to open up the club next to Joe's, and they were looking for an investor.
Yeah.
Red Band's like, I guess I own a comedy club now. So Brian picked up the slack on that and helped move that forward. And
kind of like revitalized it.
well, it was already painted and ready to open, and then suddenly their business partner passes away next to Joe's club. But Joe's, open up next door. Like there's enough. He wanted more or less 6th Street to look like Boston in the 80s, where there was comedy clubs all up and down the street. In that New York front where you can go to spot to spot to spot. Well, now the clubs have opened up, and the politics are starting to show their ugly head. Certain comedians are not allowed to perform at certain venues, and bannings and suicides and all kinds of bullshit. Fortunately, I showed up here with enough experience to not put all my eggs in one basket. In fact, this is just an empty basket. If I get anything out of this city, I'm pleased, because I didn't really get into this to be a popular comic in Austin.
Let me ask you, sorry to cut you off, but I really want to like dive deeper into that, because like that's something that I've really started to deal with. Staying in Canada and having hit the low ceiling early, like not early, but like you hit it at such an early mark in your career. I'm only
5 years.
Yeah, like it's crazy. You've pretty
Most
much
people,
seen.
it takes them 10. If you're really good, you'll see it within 5 years.
Yeah.
And you should move. But the average bear overnight success takes a decade. So you could do everything twice in Canada in 10 years, maybe more.
I didn't really feel elite level funny until 10 years though.
Yeah.
Like I'm 13 now.
Yeah.
So this is when I'm really starting to itch up there, because the opportunities are pretty much all tapped. You know,
The
and
thing
the
you said,
audience is-
opportunities,
Yeah.
they're not even opportunities, they're rumors.
Oh my God.
Opportunities when, no, it's just a rumor. There's no opportunities, and even less so with the absence of the Montreal Comedy Festival. But the perfect part about it is that you're not reliant on opportunities. The opportunities are what you're going to create yourself. Mm-hmm. You got a YouTube channel and an internet connection, you can be a top dog in show business.
It's really just that. But like, nobody wants to put the work in.
Mr. Beast puts the work in.
Ideas. Okay, fair enough. Okay. When I say nobody, I mean
Yeah,
the majority of people don't want to
Yeah,
put the
well,
work in.
the
is what I
problem
should
is
say.
you hang out with nobodies.
No, I stopped hanging out with anybody except for this guy.
Yeah, I
We
know.
started actually doing real shit. Shout outs to Dante behind the camera right now. Like, yeah, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people, but what
You
I
got to not even surround yourself. You got to attract those type of people. If you're just trying to be a hang-around
that's
success,
what I wanted to get to.
then
yeah.
you're always the opening act, and there's no glory in that.
But also, like, I feel like there's a lot of fake camaraderie, you know? Like, I don't know if it's because there's...
Yeah, but
I say less opportunity, you say no opportunity. Like, whatever the opportunities are for Canada, you know what I mean? Like, for up there.
Yeah,
That only really apply
You're
up
looking
there.
at something pre-COVID. There was potential opportunities and things, but people realized over COVID with their internet connection and their YouTube channel is that, in fact, I'm not going back because I've got a YouTube channel where I put my cats in clown makeup, and I'm making 10 grand a month on T-shirts, and I had a shitty job at the airport.
Yeah.
And my boss was a cunt, and I had ulcers. I was overweight. I had headaches all the time, and I wanted to kill myself.
It's a really good backstory.
Now I don't see anybody. I just check my PayPal balance and laugh. Cut. And we're back.
Can I ask you specifically, as a Canadian comedian who actually I think is a standard to look at?
Russell Peters.
Absolutely.
Why there's nobody that. Why wouldn't you look at somebody who's touched people around the globe? Like, just doing stand-up comedy. Like, that's really that. You really just want to travel around the world doing comedy. Trying to make as many people laugh as you can before you die. And jet lag and hangovers and a sore face from laughing because you were up with a bunch of locals that had nothing to do with you in life, and now you're sitting at a table doing shots of some strange liquor with some lady who's twice your age and who's laughing at you because you might pass out. And then you're sitting on a plane exhausted, your body's shaking, and you got a stupid grin on your face. I don't know, maybe that's not your good time. But that was an example. But yeah, when you get to a nice hotel and they pay you good,
Yeah.
and you had nothing to do with the people showing up, it's like great.
You say now really the pathway is making your I mean, technically it always has been, but more so than ever. The pathway to creating your own success.
It's the only pathway. You'd starve to death waiting outside the mothership to get 60 seconds on a game show because you want to be famous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like it's a lot of people now in it because of popularity, fame, community where they didn't have community. It's like
And that's why the Canadians have done well here, because they didn't even know that you could get famous. They just wanted to be fucking ripping rooms.
yeah.
Celebrity. There's a joke in Canada, and I want to say it was Glenn Foster, could have been Lawrence Morgenstern, but the United States uses Canadian show business as a witness protection program because no one will ever find you. Are you crying?
Yeah, because this has actually been one of the greatest experiences of my life, man.
Well,
like, this is actually taking this shit seriously the way I envisioned myself doing it the second I touched the mic. Just not knowing how.
but you were doing it leading up to this. You didn't even know it, but you attracted like-minded people. So I'm attracted to this cause because of what you were doing on your own. So I'll go and put some gas under that. I just get people up on diving boards and I kick them in the back. And I'm like, don't belly flop. And they're like, I don't know how to swim. I'm like, I guess you're learning on the way down. Ah! Canadians just all over the bridge. Ah! Jared Nathan. Ah! Kyle Lacey. Ah! Ben Bankus. Aaron Belial. Oh, no, he doesn't make a noise.
This is rare. I don't see like I'm actually at a loss for words, bro. Like you don't exist in that scene anymore. Like you literally, and then also just more of that. Was it always like this when you were coming up? Like why
It was the opposite of that. And that's why I've gone out of my way to help and kind of show some people that there's actually some diving boards you can jump off of. You don't have to sit on the patio and get sunstroke waiting for your chance to go off the diving board. No one knows where. All they know is that the water's at the bottom. Just jump. So I wish I had I had a couple key people that supported me since day one, and that was really it. I stopped trying to focus on getting approval from my peers in the Canadian business, because as far as I was concerned, I'm just passing through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't interested in having multiple appearances on the Montreal Comedy Festival. You know, I wanted to be in town during the festival premiering my movie.
Doing your own shit.
On my own shit.
That to me is the real pursuit of the art. To me personally. That like not even giving a fuck about fame or none of that shit. Like I get rewarded every time I walk off a stage and there's even a person in the crowd that's paying attention.
And that's what makes Canada produce so much great comedy talent is that you can't brag in Halifax.
Yeah.
You can't be a diva in Winnipeg. There's no place for you to get what you're worth.
Yeah, man.
The pay has been frozen for 20 years. The cost of living is quadrupled.
Well, good night, everybody.
He's crying again. I always do this.
Fuck.
I'm
Like,
the who's a talk show personality that gets the guests to cry all the time? Barbara Walters. Am I the Barbara Walters?
For comedians. Yo, how long, like, when does the bubble burst, do you think? What is your prediction for the next 5-10 years of comedy?
You'll never see it in your lifetime, the bubble burst.
Because it'll always be there.
You will not see the end of this. Unless there's a global paradigm shift. But even then, now there's all these savages now.
Yeah.
There's guys that are like super funny, super fit, trained. You know, a lot of these guys are doing jujitsu and shooting guns. And they're comics. So those guys are half soldiers. So now you got guys who want to tell jokes that are willing to get in a foxhole and go in a half hour, they're going to stop shooting, and then you guys go and do your double act.
All right, I guess we'll end this with the 4 questions I've been asking all the comics. First of all, how long have you been doing comedy?
Last month, June 25th, it was 28 years.
How do you still feel about it at this point?
That's all I feel about it at this point. It's like, it's muscle memory to me now. There was no hobbies or other things that I did on the side. It's when you do something for like 20 years plus straight, the feeling is, I don't even know, you're going to cut around this. How do I feel about comedy now? The same way I did when I first started.
That same passion?
I have that same, and it's not even passion, it's revenge.
Malachi!
You know, a revenge. I could perform or eloquently heartfelt stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Which I did for the first 4 years. It was more silly and crass, opposed to my 6 years touring in Europe.
Okay.
Took all the medieval shit that I'd had under the bed and moved it right up to the front. So I'm pregnant.
Let's say somebody who's never touched the mic before but wants to get into it walks up to you and asks you for advice. What would you tell them?
Study. Like we're living in a time now. I didn't have the luxury. I had to stay up late when I was a kid, at risk of getting in trouble because I had school in the morning.
Yeah.
To catch a late night special of some, I didn't know what's this comedy at 11. Okay, now you can go and have transcripts of everything that's ever been said on stage. So I go learn it all. Like,
yeah,
I had the biggest comedic revelations I had in a situation were when I studied clown in Commedia dell'arte, things where you couldn't use your voice and you had to convey these stories and do these clown turns and stuff. So that the lack of education I had in language was I elevated myself in my physical attributes. So I could literally, and there was points where I could clown with simple gestures and get an audience into a frenzy from the experience I had learned from studying with Up and Smoot, Mike and John. and my mind's wandered again.
Yo, all right, I'll ask you
I'm
another
pregnant.
question. It's twins. Cut.
Siamese twins.
I was waiting for it, motherfucker. That's hilarious.
That's we were doing a thing. I say I'm pregnant.
It's twins.
Siamese twins. One of them's bisexual. One of them's not. Now, both of them are in a given head, but one of them's straight. So, balls of flurry is what we call it on Wednesdays.
Yo, Jason, if you can get back in the time machine and go back to when you first started, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Kill them all.
Damien!
Nothing. No advice. I wouldn't want to change where I am now. No, because again, like I was gone. I started comedy in 96, 97, 98.
Yeah.
You know, I'm headlining in a record time, reluctantly. It's not easy to make up 20 minutes in a matter of months to fill out your 50-minute set. Because I was very rigid on not overstepping, running the light, because I knew these cunts were going to complain about me. But the fact that, that just switched, it's fine.
It's switched on.
Yeah, I know it does that sometimes. You can just hit the power button on the side there. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It triggers. All of them do that. I'm pregnant.
I got one final question for you, my man.
Uh-huh.
What does stand-up comedy mean to you, or what is it to you? I'm pregnant.
Twins. Bisexual twins.
Siamese. One will blow you.
The weird, their heads are connected. One face is out, one face is in. So when I'm getting a blowjob, the other one wakes up and goes, "Are you kidding me? It's casual Wednesdays at work, and my hair is going to look terrible." I like to put it in my own gel.
I feel like that's also your answer to the question.
Comedy to me. It's the only time. And look, and you keep coming back. It's like, it's the only time that I feel that I am in the right place at the right time. Everything else is completely uncomfortable. And I can't be me. That's why I had to quit drinking 8 years ago, because I was spiraling into taking it really personal on how shitty everything is. So I would start to lash out to anybody around me at that time and create some pretty wild. Yeah, there's stories. In fact, when Sam Walker did my European tour with me, it was funny because it sounded like it was set up, and it was worded almost exactly each time. Is the promoter would be hanging around me and Sam and get a little conversational, and then the promoter would say, "You're lucky Jason is not drinking. He was a real handful before," which was a polite way saying this guy was a fucking disaster. The amount of times people see me piss in my own mouth. But it's Europe. They just think I'm being creative. In Hamilton, they think you're showing off. I'm pregnant.
It's twins.
Is that an American hat?
Yeah.
You're in, right?
Man, I'm all the way in. And I'm proud
you guys
to be
trade,
American.
yeah. Sam Walker, fucking American flag, a bandana on his neck. Like, everybody comes over here, and I told you before, fuck, do I really have to fly home?
Yeah.
Should I change my ticket?
Yeah.
But no, this is good. Like I said, no regrets. Just being here for the 2 Mondays, those 2 opportunities, everything was gravy on top. You got gravy, whipped cream, fucking sprinkles, and a cherry. You're going home with like 2 suitcases of like more's happened to you in 2 weeks in Austin than 10 years in Canada.
My biggest takeaway from the 13 years is just that I'm prepped.
100%.
Nothing has happened for me, but I'm fucking ready.
Yeah, let's do
ready.
a little creative math in the favor. Is that I said takes 10 years for an overnight success. COVID, let's call it, took you out for 2 years, all of us. We were really functioning at full speed, but we were out there doing it. So it was kind of a split. So you're only a year behind your goals. 12 months is nothing. Yet, now let's even do a little more math on that, is that a year ago, things were kind of just starting here, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So you're technically 3 months, you fucked up for 3 months of pissing around and not pursuing this yourself.
Yeah. It's go time. Jason Rouse, I love you, man. Thank
Love
you.
you too, brother.
You want to tell people where they can find you? You want to promote anything?
You can find me on Catch a Predator or any sexual registration. I'll tell you where you can't find me. Public schools. They grease the fence so I can't get over the side. I'm a fence jumper. I'm feral.
We'll put his socials at the bottom of the goddamn screen. Go check out all his shit. He's all around the world doing exactly this beautiful thing of ours, comedy. I love y'all. Back to the show.
Thanks for watching. Boom.
I got to do the
I'm pregnant.
Nardwuar thing now. It happened again. I'm just going to leave it.
What, are we doing Nardwuar? Let's do it. Like, you remember, you ever seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger?
What'd you call me?
No, and the black guy from Predator.
Oh,
he died. He just died.
Yeah. Oh my God. No.
No. Fucking. No.
Fuck.
Oh. He's
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Damien. Dylan. That was his name, Dylan.
No, what's his actual name though?
Fuck. He's been in a bunch of movies.
You said this earlier.
Great.
We have the
He
internet.
does comedy too. I think he was in. Fuck.
Who was in Predator?
Is that him? Is that the same guy?
Apollo Creed?
Did he play Apollo Creed?
Yes. Yes, he did. So.
Carl Withers?
Carl Withers.
I didn't even get to the thing, but I want to confirm now.
Yeah, and they go, they slap their arms and you see all their veins.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. What did you call him? Dutch?
This is Dylan.
Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the camera their arms are just flexing for the camera. Like, come on. Step into the shot. They're like this in front of the camera. Just fucking veining it.
Just a little bit lower.
Yo, cut! Cut!
Yeah. Wild.
Wow, this has been amazing. Thank you, man.
No problem.
This is Black Zeus, the podcast season 5.
I love y'all. Thank you for supporting. Once again, the Patreon is launched. If you do want to watch my comedy special right now, you can do so. It's only $10 and you can get it as part of the subscription fee. So like if you subscribe to the Patreon, you can get it that way, or you can just buy it outright for $10 that way. Once again, for transparency, I will release the comedy special for free on the YouTube once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So you can also just hit the subscriber button and just do that. You can support that way, whichever way you want to support. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that. I don't necessarily use it the way everybody else does, but I'm there if you want to find me. AKA Black Zeus is the person to find on those platforms.